We have a receiving area that enters into the whitewood rough mill part of the facility. So we'll get boards in off of trucks. We'll let it acclimate for a little time because of the travel. Then it'll go into our dry room where it acclimates even further for a period of time. Then we'll even dimension it down into smaller stock that will work with the tooling and the fixtures we have. We use our dry room also for component storage as we make things that we need for the guitars: neck blocks, tail blocks, rim sets, rough neck blanks. Those things also continue to cycle back into the dry room so that they stay the way we want them. So when the guitar, the wood is ready, we bring it out into our rough mill section where we'll process it for whatever we're going to use it for, like a neck blank. We bring out neck wood, we dimension it, we use a 2 and sometimes 3-piece neck assembly. So there's a whole series of operations that get done where the neck may bounce from rough mill and the big tools that are there to the whitewood section where we have smaller tools as well as the bench assembly areas for employees to work on things. Tops and backs for some of the models are laminated. So you'll see in the facility there are presses, hydraulic presses to put those multi-laminate tops and backs together. We have special made forms that Bob actually put together himself to prove and make sure that they would work exactly right. And then we have the bending setups. We have some models that are solid sides, so we bend them traditionally just like Bob has done for years and years. Then we have some models where they have laminated sides. So we have heavy-duty presses where they're glued and allowed to cure, and then they hold that shape. And then guitars are braced. Those tops and backs are braced, and then they're assembled in other presses. Where after that's done, in the body format, we sand the guitars down in preparation for binding work. Binding channels will be routed onto the instrument, and then the bodies receive their binding packages dependent on the model, how fancy or more moderate it is. And then from there, when the neck meets up with it, in our assembly area, we neck fit the guitar neck to the body, and then do all the final prep in sanding and making sure everything's perfect and ready to go to the finish department, where the finish people will get the instrument ready to go into the spray booths. They'll tape things off, they'll stuff the bodies to protect the insides, tape bindings, whatever they have to do. Then they start the finish process, whether it's a honey blonde finish that Bob has made famous, or whether you look at the sunburst or some of those other colors that we do. Then they get their top coats put on there. Assembling one of his guitars it takes more work and effort than just putting a few parts together. It's a bit more of a complicated process, and he is very finicky about the setup. So
I will spend as much time as I like, and I do like spending time around guitars. When we say the production models, it can be misleading because production implies mass production. That's not at all the case. The Bambino model and the Bravo model and the others are truly handmade. They're a simpler design, easier to make than the flagship models. Nonetheless, are made by very skilled people who I have direct involvement in training and overseeing. And every instrument will pass through my hands before it leaves this building.
We take our time, get them assembled, and then he checks them all out. He's the final word. If they pass Bob, then they get to go in a case and go out the door.